Wanted to show you all about FLEUR's pouring medium. Now I'm videoing this rather than going live because you know what I'm like, everything I do seems to go wrong. So it's part of their fluid art collection. Mine's never going to come out as good as that. Anyway, FLEUR have three bases that they use for pouring. They have their classic pouring medium that you mix 1-to-1 with their paint. So they suggest that you use the chalky range, chalky but not a chalk paint, just means very matte, because it's highly pigmented. So you just mix that 50-50 with your colours, and then there's various methods of how you pour. You can layer it up in a jug, you can do them individually as you know, each colour 50-50, and you know, pour them in different designs and different techniques, and so I just thought I'd just show you how that works out. You need to think about the colours you're going to use. I'm using Miss Petronilla because it's my favourite colour. Miss Petronilla, it's like a really vibrant blue. I'm going to use black just because of, you know, just a bit of a contrast. And then I absolutely love their Copper Club. Now obviously you're going to find over time that some colours are going to work better than others. I've been having a little play about already, and yeah, the copper isn't as coppery as I thought it was going to be, but I'll show you in a minute. Some of them are drying over there. Anyway, I'm going to try different layering up this time. So I have already pre-mixed my colours, and I'm going to put some cell medium. This is their cell medium, no, that's medium for pouring. Where's your cell medium? Okay, so this is, we would usually use like a silicone or something, and that's quite thick. This is quite interesting because can you see how runny that is? Yeah. So I have got my black. I'll mix these together. Now Miss Petronilla. It's interesting when it comes through from Italy. It has on the box. It says Donna Petronilla. I always think that's quite attractive. Right, and then I've got my copper. So these are already pre-mixed. I'm just going to use up what I've got. Now I'm going to put the cell medium. You can do different things. You can put them in with the paint. You can put it on afterwards. I'm going to put it in with the paint. I'm going to put it in with my copper because I love seeing how metallics separate. I just think it looks really interesting. So I'm going to pour some in there. I actually don't know what the quantities are. I'm kind of going for it. Okay, so I'm going to start off with a kind of a black base. That always seems like quite a sensible idea. And I'm going to do it in circles. No idea why, just thought I'd try it. Okay, so I'm just going to use it in a circle like this. I'm just going to kind of go round. You can do it in lines. Like I say, you could layer it up in a bigger cup, and you know, you see people come, you know, do all these types of things with it. There's all sorts of ways. You just have to experiment. I'm absolutely amazed at how far this is going, and I think the reason for that is because it's so liquid. So you're not going to end up with a great big thick finish. Okay, so I'm going to try, this is Miss Petronilla. I'm going to pour some of this on top. Okay. And I have primed the surface of the canvas with a coat of FLEUR's, not satin, glossy varnish. So they do three varnishes. They do a matte, they do a satin. The satin's lovely, really nice, and this is the gloss, which I haven't actually used before. So I put a coat on that on the board, and then actually just now I put another coat on so that it was actually wet when I applied this. And then now I'm going to put the copper. And what's really interesting is the cell medium just wants to sit on the top. It's not really mixing in. And we shall see. If it comes out rubbish, I'm going to delete this video. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to tip. And yeah, the cell medium was wanting to come out first there. I'm going to go round, try and fill up some of those gaps. Ooh. Ooh, yeah, I'm liking this. And then we can have the fun with the tip-in. I watched the lady from FLEUR can't think of her name at the moment. She's Fabio's sister. We call him Fabulous Fabio because he's rather fabulous. And she was demonstrating this yesterday live on Instagram. Go and have a look. In a lovely pair of black leather trousers and a rather smart camel jumper. Did she get any on her? Did she even get any on her fingers? I mean, she wore gloves, but still. Why doesn't that ever happen for me? Ooh, okay, so. She didn't even have an apron on. She did not even have an apron on. Okay, ooh, look at this. This is fun. Sorry, I should be directing it more towards you so that you can see it. So we've got a couple of patches there that kind of like dry. What I'm going to do is, because this is so liquid, it's not going to notice. I am going to just pour. I'm running out of paint. I'm going to pour whatever I've got left into those dry spots. And they will blend in. Whereas when I've done this before with other products, you could kind of tell that that had been added in, because it would sort of, I don't know, be a bit thicker or whatever. So, right, okay. Now, I tend to not try and go backwards and forwards too much. I find you end up with this kind of zigzaggy movement and it don't look all that. So we've gone one way this way, and I like doing it on the diagonal. Gives it more of a marble effect. Right, hold on, I'm going to have to add some more paint down that bottom here. And I've got none left. I've got loads on my board. I'm going to scoop some up and I'm just going to chuck it here. It's not really going to notice because this is going to sit on top of it, but it needs somewhere for the paint to slide to. Does that make sense? Really should be wearing gloves with this. Right, so I don't know if you can see, but the cells are creating some really lovely separation. You see down here where my thumb is? Really nice. You could, and what I'll do is I'm going to drop a little bit more of the cell medium on the top, just to see what happens. And I'm just going to kind of go around here and just sort of try and, I just don't want them white bits showing. Got a bit of white there. I would suggest you wear gloves. This is just ridiculous how messy I am. Luckily I have some paper towels down here. I should have worn gloves. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is, I've got some straws somewhere. Yeah, here, some straws. Yes, they're plastic. They are from 18 months ago when we had a party here, probably nearly 2 years, and they just haven't been used. Obviously we don't buy plastic straws anymore, but I'm just going to do it because I just want to get some drips. And that's a good way to put your finger over the top. No, put it in, then put your finger over the top, lift it out. That's it. Because I want to just get some more cells going on. Come on. You can as well play about with heat. So put your hairdryer on a hot setting, but don't put it on a fast fan, because it will literally make waves in your paint, which can look quite interesting. I've had people come and do it in workshops, and you tell them and they don't listen and they just do their own thing, and they get some really interesting results. Looks good. Right, hold on, there's a bit there. Right, I must have some more paint I can stick on that bit there. It's really annoying me. Don't want any white. Come on, that last little bit. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to get the hairdryer out. It's going to be a bit annoying, but just so that you can see. Right, I'll move the camera down a bit as well. And you too. I've got this new kind of bendy camera stand. Right, I'm going to put the hairdryer on. I'm hoping that's going to help with the cells. Who knows? hairdryer a bit closer, it moves. So you want to be careful of that. So I'll show you some that I did earlier, using the same colours. So this is pouring medium 1:1 with no cell medium. So I'm using the same colours because I kind of want to show you the different effects that you can get. It's interesting because it actually keeps developing as you go along. The reflection on this is a bit annoying, but I hope you can see how there's some really lovely kind of fonds and things going on. Really interesting. And then they have another kind of method that they call coral, and with that you mix more of the pouring medium to the paint, a higher ratio, 3:1 instead of 50-50, and that develops some interesting fonds. I haven't obviously mastered the technique, I've just tried it on a couple of coasters. I'll just show you those as well. So that's one of them. So can you see what we're talking about? We're talking about these interesting effects that are going on there. Can you see that? And then I've got one more that I did, and it's really coming out beautifully glossy with some interesting effects going on there. So it's definitely something that you need to practice. But what I'm really pleased with is the level of gloss and the kind of the separation and things, and the fact that it's so watery, so movable, that you are going to be able to use this, say, on the top of a sideboard and not use very much paint. The very first paint pour I ever did was about, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. And I just used Fusion Neat, didn't put any, oh, I put, oh, it's an extender that you use in the painting and decorating world. What's it called? Comes in a big gallon thing. I mixed it 50-50 with Fusion, tipped it all over this sideboard. Luckily it was just a cheap, crappy sideboard because it wasn't very heavy. I taped up around the edges, and I literally tipped the sideboard from one end to the other, from side to side, and got quite a nice effect. Chucked some gold leaf in it and all sorts, and did my very first, I'll show you a picture of it if I can find it, sideboard top, and it sold, I must admit. So it's quite interesting. If you look, if you leave these and then just come back and start looking close up, you've really got some really lovely effects going on. So they do 2 other pouring medium bases. So you've got your classic, which you mix 1:1, or 3:1, and you can use the cell medium with it, or you don't have to. And then they have a marble medium, which I'll do a separate video for that. And then they have one which they're calling oxidizing, and that's for using with the copper and rust reactive paints. So FLEUR have these paints. It's a copper, it's like a grey paint, and then you put a sorry, that's the wrong way round. So on the rust, you have it's a grey paint with iron filings in it, and you use the rust activator on it, and you get a genuine rust effect. And you can use that in with this paint. The same with the copper. It's a copper coloured paint with copper in it. You use the copper activator on it, or oxidizer as they call it, and you can use it in with this pouring medium. So I'm going to have a little go at that as well in a minute, and I'm going to video that too, and I may or may not let you watch it depending on how it comes out. Anyway, I'll take some pictures of this because it's so lovely. It's not really showing up so well on camera, but I've got a little Nathan sideboard over here that I'm going to paint in Istanbul interior, because that's the new colour that they've brought out into the eggshell. And I'm going to do one of these on the top, sod it, just see how it comes out. And Istanbul interior obviously still comes in chalky, so I can still use it for this, because you only use the chalky with this and not the eggshell. Any questions, let me know. I'm loving this one. This is the best one so far. Okay, see ya.